Hey everyone, well, I'm here in Georgia getting ready to start the Benton MacKaye Trail, and I just thought I'd hop on, make a quick little video about how I'm going to resupply for myself while I'm on the trail. So when I first started backpacking, I went on little trips, like 1-night trips to 5-night trips, and those were easy to pack for because you just pack for the day or for the week, and then that's all you need. Then I started getting interested in through hikes, and so I have done 2 attempted through hikes. And what I learned on those is that sometimes you do need to send yourself resupply boxes, and sometimes you don't. So when I did the Colorado Trail a few summers ago, I did half of it. I didn't know anything. I just packed up a bunch of resupply boxes for each town that I knew I was going to go into, shipped them there, picked them up, and in most cases, that worked out great. I needed that because sometimes the store was little, it didn't have a whole lot of choice for resupply, or there was really no place to get anything at all. And so then when I would get to the bigger towns, like say Breckenridge and Salida, those would have been perfect towns for me to resupply in, but I had a box that I had sent myself. So I learned from that, and most everything I've learned from people off of YouTube who get on and make videos like this, and I am so appreciative. So maybe my video might help other people too. So whenever I hiked last summer for the Benton MacKaye Trail, I had a little more knowledge, and so I did a little more research, and I found that I could send myself a resupply box in a couple places, but then there would be, one place for sure that I could just resupply in the town. And so that worked out perfect. That was really good. Because one thing too is it's expensive. It gets expensive when you have to get a shuttle, which in my case last year, I couldn't find a shuttle driver because everybody was gone, or they didn't pick up my call and I would have to call an Uber, and that got a little expensive for them to come out into the woods and pick me up and take me into town. And then, going into town and staying in a motel or hotel, that gets expensive, eating out, so it adds up. I don't have any regrets. I'm glad I did it, but, you got to save every dime you can. So this year, whenever I planned that I was going to be doing my hikes, I really did a lot more research and planned it out, tried to be just more strategic as to how I was going to resupply. So here on the Benton MacKaye Trail, first off, I've given myself a challenge that I am going to hike the entire trail, 288 miles, without going into town. That's my goal. If I need to go in, I will, but I'm going to try not to. So I have got it all planned out that I'm going to stop at campgrounds and I can receive my resupply boxes there. There's showers there. I can recharge my devices at these campgrounds, and so that's what I plan on doing. But it'll be a fun little challenge to see if I can do that. So the one thing since I'm sending myself boxes, I resupplied by shopping at my local stores. I ordered stuff from Amazon. Whenever I was in visiting my son, he has a Trader Joe's where he lives, so I bought a bunch of stuff from there. And then about April, I started putting together some of my things that I make, and I make myself protein drinks for breakfast. This year I'm doing cold soak oats. I put together my own trail mix. So those are the things that I started making, and I'm going to put some videos in of that and do some explaining as to what I did. I tried dehydrating some spaghetti, and that worked out really good. I only did a few batches of it because I've dehydrated stuff before, but I've never dehydrated meals to take on the trail. And so I just wanted to try that out. And some of that turned out all right, but some of my spaghetti poked holes in the little plastic stuff. So I'm going to have to figure that out if that's a method that I want to follow. But anyway, I put all my resupplies together, got those all labeled. My daughter's going to send those to me. And yeah, that's how I'm going to do some resupplies. Once I had my list of ingredients and supplies that I needed, I got busy shopping at my local grocery stores, Walmart. I even ordered stuff from Amazon. When I visited my son, he has a Trader Joe's, so I picked up a bunch of snacks and different ingredients that I would need. We had spaghetti for dinner one night, and this is what we had left over. So I gave dehydrating it a try, and then I vacuum sealed it for a couple of on-trail meals. These are the ingredients that I need to make my protein shake, my trail mix, and my cold soak oats. Here I'm making my protein shake. I mix all of the ingredients into my bowl, and then I blend up the oatmeal. Once I have all of that together, I bag it until I get ready to vacuum seal. This is my first time to make the cold soak oats, and I made just an assortment of different flavors. I did one day try the apricot oats out, and they were really good. So my plan is I'm going to be having those for lunch. I do buy pre-made trail mix, but just to change things up a bit, I bought some of my favorite dehydrated fruits, an assortment of nuts, and some M&Ms, and maybe just some chocolate, and I threw those into the bags and made my own trail mix. Here I'm getting my boxes ready with the labels for where they're going to be sent to, and I'm starting to put some supplies into the boxes. At first, the box is really unorganized as I just throw everything that I'm going to need in that resupply box, and then later I go back and double check that I have everything that I want, and then at that time, that's when I reorganize everything. Once the boxes are double checked and organized, I get them all taped up, make shipping labels, and then get them all ready to send off. All right, I've got my big pile of food out on my bed. I'll show you what that looks like. I'm ready to sort it. I'm going to double check again, make sure I have everything that I need. I'm pretty sure I do, but I just always like to make for sure that I didn't forget anything. All right, everyone, I've got my food all sorted out and I have everything I need, so there's nothing I need to go pick up. So when I'm on trail, in the morning time when I wake up, I like to have something hot to drink. So I've got some teas and cider. And then for breakfast, this is the protein mix that I've made up, and it's just ground up oats. There's some cocoa in there, the powdered milk, cinnamon, and then I mix that with some coffee and water, shake it up, and it makes a really good drink. Oh, I think I put some chia and hemp seeds in there. I'll try to link the recipe in for you or give you information where you can get that, but it's very filling and it worked really well for me last year. I also usually eat a dry fruit bar with that, and I'll drink some Emergency just to keep my vitamin C up, and it's kind of like an orange juice. And then throughout the day, I eat some candy. I'll have that, and that's my week of electrolytes over there, just a mix of those. And then for my morning snack, I will have either a bar or some trail mix. And then for lunch, this year, I'm starting to try out something new. I just kind of fight back and forth with lunches and getting a filling lunch. So I do love oatmeal, so I'm going to try the cold oats that I had talked about. And these are the apricot almond oats, the ones I said that I tried, and they were really good. They've got the oats, of course, coconut milk, the slivered almonds, some cinnamon, just a little bit of I think that's the only seasoning that I put into that, but it is very tasty. I liked it. I was real impressed. And I'll try to see if I can link that too. And there were just a bunch of different recipes I got off of the Backcountry Foodie. She has a lot of good recipes. And then at lunch, I love to try to have some coffee. I'm a coffee addict. And then in my coffee, since I can't have half and half or heavy cream, I buy these International coffee mix in a can, and that's perfect for a week. For dinner, here's some of that spaghetti I said that I had cooked and dehydrated, and I did try some of it, and it was good. So we're going to have that one night, and then I'll always have some kind of dessert. So I'm going to have a bar, and then I did have a bunch of Mountain House meals that had left from last year or that people had gifted me, and I just take and open those up and put those in a baggie just to save room. This is some chili, like Texas chili, and I put Fritos with it. I do carry some cheese, which is in the refrigerator. This is just a Nor rice side chicken, some cookies for dessert. This was a Packet Gourmet. I think that's the company, but this is the cheeseburger, and I was going to get some tortillas and bring and just have a tortilla burger. Completely forgot those, but I do have some chips that I carry around, so I'll have that, Snickers. This is just I just put some spaghetti in the vacuum sealer, and I have some Velveeta cheese squeeze, and then I'll have chicken with that. And then I do have an extra meal. I always take an extra little amount of food just in case that if I got delayed by a day, I would have something. So there's a beef stick and another fruit bar. And then this, I haven't tried this out, but these are just those boxes, pasta salad. And I have these mayo packs. So I'm going to try that out because I love pasta salad. So yeah, that is my food. And I will put all of that. I usually organize it into Ziplocs just so I know where everything's at and I can just grab it out. But what I do either at nighttime or in the morning when I'm getting ready, I pack up my food that I need for the day. Not my dinners, but just what I'm going to have for snacks and lunch. And then I make myself a lunch bag by just putting it in there. I always keep my spoon, and this is my bandana, my napkin. So with my cold oats, I put about a cup of those in, and then I put my fruit, which is the apricots, put that in. And then before I leave for my hike, I will put some water in it, shake it up, and as I walk, it will soak. And I did an experiment with it, and it worked really well. And then here's the first day's trail mix to snack on, my bar, and my coffee. And then I just use this little resealable bag just to put enough of the creamer powder in just for the day, and I can just use that each day. Before I leave, I make my electrolyte water that I drink for the morning, and then at lunch, I mix up another one. So yeah, that's how I do my food for the week. Well, that's my strategy for resupplying on the Benton MacKaye Trail. If you guys have any tips or tricks, some good ideas about resupplying, some different strategies, I would love to hear about them. I'm always up to learn something new. And I would love for you to follow along and see if I meet my challenge of staying on trail and not going into town.